Today, we're talking about something no one wants to talk about, not because it's not important, but because it's not very sexy. It's not viral, and it's not instantly rewarding. We're talking about stamina, not just physical stamina, but the kind of stamina that wins over time, even when talent, motivation, and intelligence fall apart. Stamina is your quiet edge that separates warriors from wannabes. Let's get into it. So, what is stamina? In my opinion, most people hear the word stamina and they think of running longer, lifting heavier, grinding out like hard CrossFit hero workouts. That's part of it, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Real stamina is about your ability to stay in the fight when every part of you wants to quit, when it's uncomfortable, when no one is cheering for you, when there's no instant reward. It's the parent who keeps listening to their kid after a 12-hour-long workday. It's the entrepreneur who keeps building after everyone told them it's not going to work. It's you deciding to do the boring, the hard, the frustrating thing because you know it's the right thing. Most people lose because they quit mentally long before they quit physically. So, why does stamina beat talent? Here's the thing no one wants to admit. The world is full of people who start strong and finish nowhere, or they never finish. Why? Because they burn out. They rely on adrenaline, motivation, natural abilities, but that stuff is situational and it fades. I've trained a lot of people in martial arts and in CrossFit, and I will tell you that the ones that show up with the most physical talent are usually the first to fizzle out. It's those that don't have that magical physical thing that have to strive and dig and work hard and train and really focus. They're the ones that wind up sticking it out. Because stamina is what's left when all the hype is gone. It's what keeps you building, training, learning, leading, and living when everyone else is tapped out. And here is the truth. Every result you want, success, mastery, peace, fitness, freedom, is on the other side of that sustained effort, that war, that marathon. If you outlast the talented, you'll win. If you outwork the motivated, you'll win. If you show up the gifted, you'll win. I promise. I've seen it. So, how do we build our stamina? So let's get practical. Here's 3 ways that I think you could start working on this. So 1 is to train your frustration threshold. Most people don't quit because they're weak. They quit because they can't handle sucking at something, for whatever reason that is. So here's the training. Every day, do one thing that frustrates you and finish it. Pick up a skill you're bad at. Do the boring, tedious task that you hate. Sit in silence without checking your phone. I tried to do that recently. It was a very, we lost our internet access at home, and I was home for the morning trying to do some work, and I was committed to doing some work that I didn't necessarily need internet for. And it was incredibly difficult to not want to continue checking that internet. So sit in silence without checking your phone, or try to do some work without the internet. You're not training the task. You're training your quit point. You're training that point at which you want to do the other thing, right? That's what we're training. Another one is Measuring your reps, not your results. Sort of a gym metaphor for life. This one's huge. We're conditioned to chase results, okay? Money, likes, weight loss, recognition, whatever it is. Forget that. Start measuring how many times you showed up, regardless of the outcome. So, gym-based, how many workouts did you finish this week? Life, how many times did you keep your word? Personal, how many days in a row did you do the little hard thing without anyone else noticing? Reps compound, right? It's additive. Results follow that. Okay, so that's another one. Here's a third. Build micro stamina habits. Micro stamina habits. If you can't trust yourself in the small little battles, you'll fold when it's a big one, right? So start small, okay? So here's one that I love to practice that I didn't, someone taught me. So get up when the alarm goes off, no snoozing. So whenever you get up, whenever you wake up your eyes, get up, just get out of bed. Practice that. Finish every workout, even if you're crawling at the end. Finish it. I see people in the gym. I see people in my gym and they'll kind of like not really finish, right? They'll kind of like zone off or flog off, or they'll set up a certain amount of weight and then like, just in a quarter into it, they're like dumping that weight off. Keep your word even when it's inconvenient to you. That one's really hard to do, but super important. That's a micro stamina habit. Do what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, okay? If you're going to make that call, if you're going to send that email, if you're going to go visit that person, whatever, do it even if you don't want to, even though you said you would, even though you told yourself you would. If you can't show up for yourself, how will you ever show up for anyone else? Okay? Micro stamina habits. Those aren't big things. We're not talking about the big things in life. We're just talking about those little things. Stretching your quit point. We talked about that earlier. You're training your quitting point, okay? Let's look at a tactical move. The 60-second rule. Okay, and I believe I got this one from Coach Divine, the 60-second rule. Next time you want to quit, whether it's a workout, a conversation, a project, whatever the little task is, don't. Instead, give it 60 more seconds. So the 60-second rule, okay? Push through one more minute of effort, of discomfort, of boredom, whatever it is. Just tell yourself, I'm doing the 60-second rule. Push through it for one more minute. Because here's the secret. You rarely quit because you've actually hit your limit. You quit because you're uncomfortable or because you're bored or whatever. And that extra minute, that's where the stamina muscle gets trained, okay? That's pushing past your quitting point. And every time you do that little thing, you add more and more and more and more and more and more. And so that's something that David Goggins is really preaching. That's something that most people miss with him, is that you look at him and you think about all the crazy stuff that he does and you just think, man, he's just crazy. But what he's done is he's pushed past his quit point so many times. Now when we see it, it is like an extreme amount, right? With him, it's extreme. With him, it's like 100-mile, 200-mile races. With normal humans, it's maybe one more minute of not checking your phone. Maybe it's one more minute of finishing that conversation that you might not want to be into because it's uncomfortable, but getting through it and getting it done. Pushing your quit point, okay? It's important. So let's end with let's talk about a mindset drill, okay? Here's your challenge. Your stamina stretching drill. We're talking about stretching. Stretching is very important for martial arts. So let's stretch our stamina. Pick one task this week, and I'm going to do this too, that usually drains you, bores you, or frustrates you to no end. Could be your workout, something in your work that you have to do, could be your taxes, could be a conversation you don't want to have, anything. And do it. And when you feel yourself mentally checking out, or you feel that pull to just like quit, stop, tell yourself, I'm giving this the 60-second stretch, and give it 1 more minute. After that 1 minute, I want you to just stop and reflect. Was I really done, or was it something else? And I want you to write that down. That's it. That's your drill. Push 1 more minute, and then reflect on it and write it down. And tell me on Instagram. Tell me here in the comments. Send me an email. Please tell me what the task was. Tell me that you pushed 1 more minute, and tell me why you wanted to quit. Okay? I promise. That's a great exercise. All right? So, motivation is temporary. Talent is unreliable. But stamina is permanent. And here, I'm not here to just hype you up. We're here. My mission is to build warriors in life who win the long game. All right? So here's your reminder. The last one standing is never the most gifted. It's the one who kept showing up when everyone stopped. If this hits home, share it. That's the price. Share it with someone. Send it to somebody who might need it. Would love that, and let me know. So drop us a rating, leave us a review. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, please give us a review. That really helps. Really, really helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it. Until next time, keep showing up, because stamina always wins.